so the dude's friend jumped at me and somebody else with a knife. And then after that, I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Like, I'm risking my life. Yeah, the money's nice. The party atmosphere is cool. I'm like, but either I'm going to get hurt or a customer's going to get hurt.
Vamos, welcome to another episode of Hear Me and Beer Me. If you're not subscribed, you should be subscribed. Hit the button, like it, comment on it, share it, all those things you gotta do, because today I'm joined by a very special guest. Without further ado, Vic, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no, appreciate
cool.
you, dude.
Yeah, this is awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was asking you earlier, like, how do you feel being, like, not behind the lens, but in front of the lens now?
I don't have to do any work.
Yeah,
you know, that's
you just kind of sit back and like let it all happen.
Yeah, I'm sure you're stressing out, making sure that I got to make sure this works, that works. Did I set everything up right? And then you're still tweaking everything, and I just show up and sit down and start talking. So it's easy for me, you know. Yeah, it's cool.
I guess that's the beauty of it, right? Like not being the one kind of conducting it or whatever.
I don't have to do anything then.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, because typically, like I said, you are the guy behind the lens, and it's kind of different. It's not video. It's more so pictures. It's photography. So we'll kind of dive into that a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I guess we can start off by saying, like, what got you into that? Because I was kind of going through your stuff, and I noticed you've been doing it for a while, dude. Like, just taking, like, actual professional-looking pictures, and that's kind of intriguing, you know? So what kind of got you into that?
I think I started like in 2008 or 2009. Just by chance, I just happened to be traveling a lot, and I'm like, oh, and it's like when digital cameras were finally starting to get pretty decent, because before then they were like, because I shoot with like a DSLR, and it looks like an old school film camera, but digital, right? But then the old ones were like I don't even know if they still make them anymore, but they look like little bricks with like a lens on it, and you would take these pictures, and it was cool. It was digital.
Are they kind of like squared?
Yeah, in a way? I wish I had a picture of one, or I wish I had one with me, man, to show you. I have some at home still, but they were like they were cool. And then finally, like, I got my first DSLR, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then the pictures were coming out crispy, and then I think I went on a backpacking trip to Europe, and I was like, oh, I want to have a camera with me, and then just kind of kept having all these little trips, and that's where it started. And then just later on, when I had my daughter, photographing her, and then just random stuff when I'm in the city, like, oh, this is cool, I have my camera with me. And then as the years went on, like, friends would ask, like, hey, can you photograph my wedding, or can you do family photos for me, or can you do, you know, whatever. And I would always, you know, my close friends, I would do it. Yeah. And then right now, when I sold Maple, I'm like, what am I going to do? And I had been doing restaurants for 17 years. And I'm like, man, I don't want to do any more restaurants. Like, they're a pain in the butt. Like, I love it, but I wanted to do something different. I'm like, what can I do? And Rosemary, my girl, kept saying, like, why don't you do photos? And I'm like, I don't know. And finally, I'm like, you know what? Let me try it. And now that's my thing. I'm doing photography full time. So
so you kind of took it as obviously like a hobby to it now being something that you do full time. I mean that's great, dude. And you mentioned though, like, doing restaurants. By that you mean exactly what? Like working in them, owning them?
So I used to own the Maple, so I own that for. So I guess I should start like further back, right? So I was a loan officer from 2000 to 2007ish, 2008, right before the big housing crash. And just by chance, like, my dad and I got this bar. I remodeled it, and then I opened it up. That was my first place, which was Lime Lounge.
Oh, you own that, really?
Yeah. So
okay, well, that's the same spot, just you guys changed name, basically, right?
Yeah, it's just the same spot.
Got it.
I ran it as Lime for 4 years. It was like 2008-ish to 2012. And then I rented it out to a friend because I wanted to get out of the bar business. We get into that later. That place was interesting. And then after that, I had Toluca on 10th Street. My parents owned that building, and just by chance, I was able to get in there. So I took over that restaurant and ran that for a long time, up until last year. And then the tenant that I had at the building where Lime was at, or where Maple, the tenant was leaving. So then I'm like, all right. I went in there and I had to gut the whole building and remodel it. And once I started remodeling it, I'm like, man, putting all this money into it, might as well open it. And then I came up with that concept for the Maple, opened that, and then it didn't go as well as I wanted it to. Uh-huh. And I kind of had to make a decision finally, like, all right, am I going to keep running this restaurant, or do I want to do something else? And then after COVID, I just got really burnt out with restaurants. Just everything changed. Everything started getting really expensive on the... like the products that I was buying.
Yeah, like even like food wise and stuff like that.
Bills, equipment, furniture, everything just got really expensive. And then the way people go out to eat changed too. Everybody was doing more takeout, and then now you're doing like a ton of Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and paying like a ton of fees for that. So now you're making even less money, more work, and I'm like burnout. It was like cooking, bartending. And then plus I got to run the actual business, and I'm like, do I want to keep doing this? That's where I was like, all right, let me pause this. And then just by chance, I had been talking to one of my bartenders about it, like, hey, I kind of want to get out of this. And she's like, if you're serious, like, I'll make you an offer and then we'll talk. And I'm like, yeah, like, if you're serious, make me an offer. She made an offer, and then we made it work, and now she's there. She opened up a place called La Zona. Mm-hmm. So she's in that building now. She's a tenant. But yeah, 16, 17 years of restaurants and bars. And
was that tough to make that transition? Because it's like something you've always known, something you've always been. I mean, I guess you're saying you were burned out, so at that point it was more so like a relief. But I'm sure a lot went into the decision, like, especially because what you're leaning on, like, depending on going forward, it's kind of like a freelance sort of thing,
Oh, yeah.
And that's always a gamble. That's a bit risky. So
yeah.
I could imagine that was a little bit tough to make a decision like that.
Yeah, I mean, I really, because I shut down Maple in, officially, like, I think I shut it down, like, July. But there was, like, a little transition period, like, at the end of May to July, where I kind of still kept it open with food just to kind of, make sure that we could... that I was getting a new tenant and whatever, but during that time I'm like, am I making the right decision? I've been doing this is what I know, this is what I know how to do.
Right.
Like, I love the restaurant business. I love talking to customers, especially at Maple. Like, it was a pretty cool concept, man. We had really good food, really good drinks, and we had a good crowd. So I'm like, do I really want to do something else? But dude, there were days when, like, a Friday somebody would call in, and I was already there from like 9 a.m. till somebody calls in, and I'm stuck there till 1 a.m. or midnight.
Yeah, the entire day.
Yeah, the entire
basically.
day,
yeah.
And then I already have to go and open the next day, and then let's say I had been cooking all night, and then I have to go in and cook the next morning, and then something else happens the next night. I'm stuck there again.
Yeah.
And then by the time the weekend's over, I already put in like 30 something hours over Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday was like my only day off, but that's like the day that I would do bills and stuff. And it was just like I was living at Maple. I would go home literally just to shower, sleep, take care of my dog, and then right the next day, right back to the restaurant. And I'm like, all right. So, yeah, it was a hard decision. But then, dude, when I keep thinking about it, I'm like, man, it was like really wearing me down. So when I did close, it was like a sense of relief. Like, a lot of people that know me were like, man, you look happy. And I'm like, it's just, I wasn't stressed anymore.
Yeah. That kind of leads me to something, though, because you grew up here in Waukegan as well. And you grew up, like, owning Lime Lounge. And now that I'm finding that out, I thought you were just, like, be at Lime Lounge and, like, in that crowd or whatever. So things were a lot different, I think, when you were going through, like, say, your mid-20s versus, like, me going through my mid-20s, like, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And, I think it's fascinating. I feel like back then, like, everyone was more connected, I want to say, because there was social media, but it was like you would just use it to post like once a month, like on, you know, to show that you're alive or whatever. And now it's kind of like you're posting on your stories and you want to post here and you want to post there, you want to post there. So kind of walk me through like the early days, like through Lime Lounge days. Like, what was that like? Kind of now that I know you're running it, that's even crazier. I thought you would just like be there.
Yeah, man. So even like now, right? Like you see all the bars, like everybody's posting, like you said, stories, reels. So or you have like events, and then you have like 20 different things now, right? You have like Instagram, Facebook, sometimes YouTube, but TikTok, Snapchat for sure. Everybody's like on Snapchat.
Yeah.
So you have all these different things. So if you're not seeing it in one place, you're seeing it somewhere else, or most likely you're seeing that ad, or hey, come out here. You're seeing it like 3-4 different times, and then your friends are sharing it. So back then, like in let's say 2008, 2009, 2010. Because I want to say the first iPhone came out like in 2008, maybe 2009.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, and even then it wasn't quick where you were like using social media on it.
No, it was like text messages, like those chains.
Yeah,
that you would just be like party tonight at like Cocos Locos or some
pretty
shit.
Much,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So everything was word of mouth, and or like still hand flyers, or you'd just be out like, hey, it was always like, I don't really go out like that anymore, but back then it used to be, you know, like Tuesdays was like Fat Man's or something, right? So everybody.
Did you get it?
I don't. It was like a little basurita.
Oh.
So
I thought it was the fly that was running.
Yeah, so it was weird. So it was like because there were a bunch of bars. So I can't remember the days right. It could be wrong. So Tuesdays was In-Laws. That's Primo. It used to be called In-Laws. So Tuesdays you were there at In-Laws, and then everybody was like, "Hey, where are you going tomorrow? Tomorrow we're going. I don't know, Fat Man Bowl." And then Wednesday the whole crowd would show up at Fat Man Bowl, and then everybody there would make plans like, "Hey, where's everybody going tomorrow? Oh, we're going Thursday to Fat Man's on 41 to celebrate somebody's birthday." And then the whole crowd would be at Fat Man's. And then Friday was like, "Oh, DJ Danny's gonna be at Lime on Friday. Let's go to Lime Friday." So then Friday at Lime, and then Saturday was like, "Where's everybody going? There's a birthday party at Legends." And then so it was always like that word of mouth from the bar you were at the night before.
Yeah.
And it was always like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday was always like a different bar. Like even I remember Thursday nights there was like a big thing where the bars here would close at 1. But there was a place in Mount Prospect called Dick's Last Resort. I think it's Dick's Last Resort or something like that. Everybody called it Dick's.
Yeah.
But everything would close here at 1, and by 1:30, the parking lot was like jam-packed at Dick's. And it was all people from everywhere showing up to party till like 4 in the morning.
Oh, wow, because they closed way later?
Yeah, they would close at 4. So everybody was coming back to town like Friday morning, like at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. So yeah, it was I don't know if it's similar now, but that's what I remember back then, and you know, from like 2008 to like 2012. And then, you know, bars close and open, and there's always like a new place, but it was always like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sin falla. You know, sometimes Sundays, Mondays, but that Tuesday to Saturday. Now I'm more of the type of crowd like, oh, let's go out to the muck on a Friday and have a beer and chill. You know, I'm not out like at the bars like that.
Yeah, but chill's never actually chill. Like, you know what I mean? It is chill, but to a certain extent, because then you're like 6-7 beers deep, and like they're ordering like fucking those Ruppelman shots at the mall or whatever, and you're just walking out of there like, god damn, like what happened to like one beer? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the crowd is chill, but the actual like what went on behind the scenes is never like actually chill.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean it's great like that. I like it like that. At least. I don't know. But I'm kind of hitting that same like stride a little bit. Like I'll get it every now and then where I'm like, damn, I actually kind of want to go out tonight. And then I think my problem is like once I'm out, it's like I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, like then I'm like, damn, well, what the fuck? Are we doing something? Like I won't just want to be like kind of like sitting. You know, like like this was a dead night. Let's call it. Like no, we're gonna like make it like going, better. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's my problem. Is like once I get going, like I don't want to stop. But that's interesting that you say like it was word of mouth and it was those text chains and shit like that. Yeah. And I feel like that probably kept people more connected too, because you physically have to contact someone like, hey, so what's going on? You plan you got your little group or whatever. Whereas now it's like you just see it, like you're saying, you see it posted everywhere, and you're just like, oh, okay, cool, like I'll go or I don't go, like who do I go with, like I don't know, it's more like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, what you would see too, like now I'm not out like that anymore, so I don't know, but I feel like now you kind of make your plans and you know where you're going, right? So you kind of know who's going to be at, I don't know, let's say who's going to be at Cantina, and you're like, oh, Friday night I'm going to Cantina, and then Saturday I'm doing this, right? Versus before, sometimes you didn't know and you're like, I want to go out, and you would go pop in and you're like, oh, it's dead here, let me move on to the next place. And then you would start bar hopping until you found the crowd, and then you would stay there.
Yeah.
So now it's like you kind of know where the crowd is at, so you're going. Like now you know, oh, so and so celebrating their birthday. I saw the flyer, like blah blah.
Yeah, you know who's gonna be there, so kind of beforehand.
Yeah, you know it's like gonna be busy. And before, I remember a lot of that, like people would walk in. If it wasn't busy, they walk right out. Or if they would see like a lot of cars on the street or a big line, then people were like, oh, there's something going on. Let's go there.
Yeah.
So that's probably like what I imagine is the biggest difference.
Yeah. No. Also, I think like things start way later, and I think it's because everyone's kind of like it's like you said, back then you didn't know till you pulled up. Now you're like, oh dude, we'll check their story. So you like check the story.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, you saw like they didn't really show like it looks dead right now. There's probably no one there.
Yeah.
Like, oh dude, they just posted like, oh damn, there's no one there. You know, like it's crazy now how you're not even there and you just know. You're like, oh, so then you just don't like show up. You know what I mean? And like what could have been like a great night or a great crowd kind of isn't, just because it didn't start off as being that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's a big major difference too. So you ran Lime, and then what happened? Like, why did you guys like shut down and become Maple? Or was there like a gap between?
No, so then it turned into Miggy's for a while.
Okay,
yeah, it was like I mean, it was still a bar, but I want to say it's more like a dive bar. I mean, it was a kind of a chill place, but I was really busy at Lime, almost too busy, where it's starting to get too crazy. So I love telling a lot of these stories. I'd rather tell them like off camera though, because like they're really crazy stories. But the one that like made me think, I'm like, okay, I gotta rethink this whole thing, was we had a bad bar fight one night where somebody busted my front window, and I don't know where the hell the security guard was at, and I was like the first one to walk out. I had to, because I'm like, oh, somebody just busted the window. I looked around, I don't see security. I'm like, wow, it's me. Started fighting with the guy, and then, you know, a bunch of my friends jumped out. They started, you know, whatever. I'll tell you the story off camera. But anyway, so the dude's friend jumped at me and somebody else with a knife. And then after that, I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Like, I'm risking my life. Yeah, the money's nice. The party atmosphere is cool. I'm like, but either I'm going to get hurt or a customer's going to get hurt. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, end up in a lawsuit or something.
Yeah, and not even that, but just more like, dude, if somebody gets killed here or stabbed, like, how am I going to feel about that? For what? For, you know, to make some money? And I'm like, nah, I got to rethink this. And then there's other stuff like that you think about, like lawsuits. Like, I did get sued there one time. Dude, I have a lot of stories. But one time we kicked these dudes out, and they turned around, threw a bottle, and hit a girl. And she sued the bar, got some money. You know, the insurance took care of it. You know, and it was... It was appropriate because it was no fault of her own. She was just chilling in the bar, and these guys just threw a bottle and hit her. And she just happened to be standing right where the guy threw the bottle. Yeah. You know, but it was like things like that were happening where I'm like, okay, no, this is just escalating. It's getting crazy. And I'm like, I have to do something before I either lose my liquor license or somebody gets hurt or something. So that's where I'm like, okay, I started thinking, I'm like, I got to get rid of it. And then my friend was going through a divorce at the time. I think he had just gotten divorced. And I'm like, hey, like, I kind of want to get out. Do you want to take this place over? Like, I'll literally give you the keys. I'll help you get started. And he's like, yeah. And then I'm like, cool. Like, I don't have to close. This is how much rent it will be, you know, whatever. And we got him started. And then he was there for a good amount of time. But then the building just wasn't being kept up, and you know, once I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna have to come in and put some money in. I didn't realize like how bad it wasn't being kept up, and that's when I went in and gutted it. And I'm like, all right, if I'm putting all this money back into it, I might as well open something.
Yeah, and that's where the Maple kind of came about.
And I didn't want to open another bar. That was the thing, because I had that. It was a really cool experience. Like, we had a lot of really good times there, a lot of cool parties. DJ Danny, I don't know if you know him.
Mm-hmm.
You should get him on the podcast. He's a cool dude.
I don't think I've ever spoken to him, but I know
he's a cool dude. So I got him to start DJing, because I was like, oh, you have good taste in music, well, you should DJ. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And then we bought some like cheap turntables for him, and then he just started learning. And then there were other DJs in town, and they started kind of mentoring him or like helping him out. And then just he kept doing it, and now he's like, you know, he's a good DJ. Like, he's around town.
To get into the photography stuff, like how do you approach like a quinceañera versus a wedding versus a birthday versus, like, how do you approach those things differently? Because I mean, coming from like me, who I don't know about photography, like I know when I see a cool picture, I'm like, damn, that looks sick, but I don't see what goes like, you know, behind that, and like how did they capture that? Like it's almost like you think it's super simple, where you're just like, oh well, they were just like standing there and like, you know, found an angle and took it, but there's so much more to it that I think like an average person wouldn't really like think about twice.
So like with the weddings, those are super stressful, man, because I have to like there's like certain shots that I have to get right, like the bride walking down the aisle with like the father, you know, the father walking the bride down, like the first kiss, like what else, like
those are like things you can't miss, like you just cannot miss them.
Yeah, you can't. So there's a lot of that with the wedding, where I have all these shots in my head where I'm like, all right, I gotta make sure I get like it depends what I get hired for, right? But like I always want to get like all the little details, like how they have their tables set up, the decorations. If I'm doing like photos of the bride getting ready beforehand, like the dress, the shoes, the rings, like the bouquets, and then like a quince, I feel like I have less pressure there for that, because it's more like I'm just looking for like the cool shots, the cool angles.
Yeah, like you're creating like the actual like scene and stuff like that. Yeah. Whereas with a wedding, there's standards that
like
are
you
like,
have to.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody always wants to see the first kiss, like, so you can't miss it, and you have to be in the right spot and find the right spot. Like with the quince, like my approach is more like trying to tell a story. So like documenting from the beginning to the end, but you can see like, oh, this is like her getting ready at home, like with their dress, they're getting into the car with the, you know, the chambelanes and the damas. Her entrance, like mother, father, daughter dance, but there are moments that I want to capture, but not like that. I only have a split second to catch it. That the wedding is more like, damn, I only have like a split second and I better get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then families are a little bit different. Those I can like move them around if I didn't get the photo right. Like, hey, just adjust yourself this way, or move over, or nobody, you know, everybody wasn't looking at the camera. Let me try that again. So there's less pressure there. There's always pressure for me to get good photos, and I think that's on me. Like, I just want to do a good job for people and give them their money's worth. But even like let's say like last weekend I was photographing at Slow and Low, the lowrider show. I'll bring out like my wide angle lens, which I never really use, and then I'll get like really low and shoot like upwards and like get this like cool wide shot of like the cars, like, you know, jumping up and down like with the hydraulics. So getting like these like kind of larger than life type of shots, like that you know, like once you see the photo, like, oh, that's cool. I mean, in person you're like, oh, that's cool too, but the photo just makes it look different.
Yeah, because you don't see it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like you're unless you fucking like bend down and you're like, you know, but you're not gonna do that. So I think that's where photography like becomes really cool when you get these shots. I saw that you did one where like you took a picture of like, I don't know where you were, but it was like they looked like kind of like Mexico buildings, but it looked like South America to me. I don't know why. Maybe like Europe, but there was like buildings on both sides, and you were like kind of like by the banqueta, and there was water there, and then you flipped it.
Oh, that was in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
I was in Puerto Rico. Like I like using reflections a lot. Like it's pretty cool. Like I have a really cool one that I took I think I took it in Munich in Germany, and I was walking down the street, and I was walking by this building that just had like all glass in the front, and I think it was a picture of a guy. I can't remember if it was a guy with a hat or a lady with a bag or something, but anyway, I saw her walking, and I'm like, oh, this looks so cool, and I just put my camera up against the glass, shot it, and then it's like a mirror image. I mean, you could tell like the one side is like a little bit more opaque than the other, so you can tell it's the reflection. The Puerto Rico one, I flipped it because you can't really tell which one was the original or not unless you like really stare at it. So like if you start staring at it, you're like, oh, the reflection's on top and the original is like on the bottom. But even if it was the other way around, like it's almost exactly the same. But,
which is crazy, right?
Yeah. So I like doing a lot of stuff like that with reflections, or like getting up close to, like, I'll see I don't know, like a car mirror. I'll get up really close and like take pictures and get like some cool reflection, a lot of windows, water on the ground. I have some cool photos like downtown Chicago where like I was walking around after the rain and there were like puddles in the street, and I'm like, oh cool, like you get down, take the shot, and I have like the Sears Tower in the puddle, and then like up top, so it just looks like this like just cool reflection of the building going both ways. But I mean, it's not original stuff, you know, it's stuff that I've seen other photographers do, and then I'm like, oh cool, but now I use that technique to...
Yeah, like, let me try that.
Yeah, I just try to be a little bit creative, because like everybody has a picture of the sky with the colors. I mean, phones are so good now that you could take great pictures. So now if like I could get a little creative and make it more unique, then, you know, it makes it more interesting, or at least I hope it is.
I cut you off earlier when I asked you. I was like, dude, you know, we haven't caught up since that time that we met up at that Glen Flora place. So how has it been going then with, like, you know, you freelancing and kind of doing the photography thing as, I guess, like a full-time job, one could say?
It's going... So I can't say it's like going great, like where I'm like, oh, I'm making a ton of money.
Yeah.
Because I just started doing it. Like I said, at first I was kind of like in between, like, should I do it or not? And then finally I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm going to do this. Like, I finally decided, okay, I'm not going back to a restaurant. I'm not going to do this anymore. Let me give photography, because it's something I like doing. I've always liked doing it. So I'm like, oh, let me see how I can make money with it. So it's been interesting trying to figure out the business side of it, because it's... even though I've run other businesses, this is still a different business, right? Like, how am I going to generate leads for the business? How am I going to, like, even writing contracts? Like, I know I got to write contracts for people. I got to handle deposits. I got to handle scheduling. How do I deliver photos to you? Do you want prints? You just want digital only? So it's been... I don't think it's, like, something super complicated or difficult, but I have to keep...
You're kind of in a spot where you have to get to a point where you have to figure out almost to, like, either one, what you enjoy the most, or, you know, where there's the most business, you know what I mean? So, or like, you know, where you land, where it's like, you know, both those things. But dude, that's kind of an exciting chapter in life, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you could have told yourself like 20 years ago, like, yeah, dude, in 20 years you're kind of gonna, you know, be doing these things that'll get you to a point where you can kind of like figure the photography thing out and kind of do it as, you know, like your actual job for a little bit, then you would have been stoked about that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, man, because like I've been telling people this lately. I'm like, I wish I would have done this sooner, because I'm actually enjoying it. Like, it doesn't matter what the photo shoot is, like families, weddings, quinceas, like they have different levels of stress. Because like I said, like the wedding, right, I can't miss certain shots, or like the quince, I have to deliver good photos where I gotta make the quince look cool. But man, none of that stress compares to the restaurant business at all. Like at all. So I'm like, I've been really enjoying this. I can make my own schedule. Which at the restaurant I could make my own schedule, but like if you have to be there, you have to be there. You know? So with this, it's been nice. I can make my own schedule. Whatever it is that I'm shooting, I'm having fun shooting it. I think there's always a little bit of anxiety waiting for the people to see their photos and hear like, oh, I liked them, I didn't like them. Thankfully, I haven't heard any like bad comments yet, or at least nobody has told me yet. But no, man, I'm enjoying it to the point where I'm like, damn, why didn't I do this sooner? But I was always so busy with the restaurants. That was my focus, where I was like, photography was just my side hobby. So I'm like, oh, I can't really put time to this because I would have to drop the restaurants, and I wasn't ready. So right now that I'm not doing restaurants anymore, it gave me that freedom to go for that. And I'm like, oh man, like, I didn't know, but things work out the way they work out for a reason, So,
yeah, right.
So it's been cool. I've been enjoying it. There is a little bit of stress, like where I'm like, dude, like I gotta make this work because this is what I'm relying on now for my income. But besides that, man, it's been fun. I've been meeting a lot of people, making different connections, and yeah, it's cool.
I mean, dude, just you saying that you booked like that, like the sporting event that you have going on. I know that you're kind of like an avid follower of like, jiu-jitsu or whatever. So I bet you're stoked for that because it kind of like goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
With just that,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I do some jiu-jitsu photography because I've been training jiu-jitsu for years, and I'll do stuff at the gym sometimes. I haven't done, so there's like big jiu-jitsu promotions. I haven't done any photos for like a big promotion. I've done like headshots, but not like headshots for like fight posters, but never like the event. So this will be my first event where I get to be like sitting at the top of the cage, like shooting into the cage, or backstage with the fighters, like, as they're getting their hands wrapped and, doing all this cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, like, we don't have the agreement signed, so there's a chance that I might not do it, but it sounds like it's gonna go through, and if it does, that'll be cool. It'll be a cool new experience for me, something like that I enjoy, obviously, because it's jiu-jitsu. I like watching fights too.
Yeah, no, when I went to watch shout out Cody, when I went to watch Cody, they did have like the two guys kind of like on top of the ring, like kind
of on the perch, like
and I thought that was dope because I mean that's obvious, right? Like that's how they shoot it, but you never think of that, so they're kind of just like like there, and it's like they got the best seat in the house, obviously, like watching, and I don't know, that's sick, but those are things too that you don't really think about, like, damn, how do these things get shot or whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like that's probably one of the coolest things is shooting like live events like that.
Yeah.
Like the shots that you can get, and you just saying like them rapping. Like I'm sure you're already thinking like, even if it, like, say it doesn't happen, but if it does happen, you're already thinking like what I want to get, like what kind of shots I want to get. Like I want this to happen, that to happen. Like I don't know, dude. That's pretty interesting, to be quite honest.
Yeah, man. Like I've seen this. Again, like I wish I were more creative, where I could come up with these myself. But I've seen like these cool shots where, like the fighters like in the back, hands wrapped already, just kind of waiting to get called up, and then the guy set up like two flashes like in two corners, like pointing down at the fighter behind them, and then you get like this really cool silhouette of like the it's like all dark, and the fighter just walking around. You just see his hands wrapped and just kind of walking back and forth. I'm like that's already like in my head. Like I gotta try to get that photo. And then like have you ever seen like a boxer or a fighter, like when they're sitting on the chair and they have their hands out and they're wrapped, So yeah, like I'm already thinking like, okay, this is what I want to get, this is what I want to get, making like a little mental checklist of things that I'm trying to shoot, and then you just hope for the best that day. And then it's hard too, man, because you're running around. I don't know how this is gonna be set up, but like if I have to run from the locker room to the cage, because then you gotta like get them like entering the cage.
Yeah.
Then like when the fight starts, and then go run and catch the next guys before they run out, and so doing a lot of running. But yeah, I'm excited. I do have like a ton of photos in my head where I'm like, oh, if I could get all these, it'll be cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like different sports, but like two of the most iconic pictures are like in the locker room, like in the back, which is like Kobe when he's like holding the trophy or whatever with that jacket on, and then the other one's like Jordan when he's like on the floor, like also with like the
The
trophy.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's like as you were saying that like about the guys in the back like with the hands like those are always like great shots too. Like it's insane because I think it goes back to like the whole like lowrider thing that you said. Those are angles that like they happen, but like you don't like no one's standing in front of the guy with his hands. Like you know, like you see him there, but you see him from up top or the side or whatever.
Yeah.
But like when you get that shot kind of from like the bottom, it's like when it's like damn, like that's what it looks like. So
yeah. But then like so like let's say like if I'm doing a wedding, like I'm usually not gonna use that wide angle lens because it distorts somebody. So like the last thing you want to do is like shoot a bride and then she looks like really distorted. Like why'd you make me look that way? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you have to think of that too. For a fighter, like it might look cool, but for a bride or a quince, like maybe not. Or you know. So
I wonder if with the bride, like with the back of the dress, like if you kind of do like a wide
angle and make that dress look really huge.
Yeah, like would it look crazy? You know.
Yeah. So that's something I'll have to like experiment with, man. Like you know. Like after I get the shots that I need to get, then I can like mess around and do cool stuff. But
how often do you find yourself like carrying your camera around? I mean, I'm sure it's like all the time, and like you're looking for different things. Like, wasn't there supposed to be like a huge moon today or tonight or like last night or something like that?
Oh yeah, man. The stuff like that is cool, but I don't really.
To you, you're kind of indifferent about that.
And it changes, man, because like if you look back at especially my Instagram page, if you look at my Instagram page, like from the beginning, it's more pictures of places and buildings, and then if you start looking at all the recent stuff, it's more pictures of people in the setting.
Got it.
So lately, I've gotten more into photographing people, like portraits or candids. I don't know. Well, one, I think other people find that more interesting, like. They just want to see people, what other people are doing and what the setting is, right? The buildings are cool, like especially if you're not, like let's say you're not from Chicago and then you see all these cool buildings downtown and you're like, oh, this is awesome, like I get to see all this stuff without going there. But there's so much of that. But then again, did you look at those pictures from the slow and low? Like I had the guy, El Mexicano, which is the guy with the Mexicano tattoo. Like, he was all tattooed, like, he had a bodysuit.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, dude. So, like, I'm like, man, I gotta, I see stuff like that, and I'm like, that's what I really, really
like
enjoy. Like, I'm like, damn.
Because it's one thing to capture, like, a place or something, or a scenery. Oh, damn. God damn, bro. That's crazy. I'm gonna put this up on the.
Yeah, man. He's El Mexicano Sick Life on Instagram. But I was walking around and he's like without a shirt and like full bodysuit tattoo, like dope ass tattoos. And I'm like, hey man, can I take a picture? And he's like, yeah, bro. He's like, let me get my shades on and like let me stand by my car. And, boom, snap the picture. And I'm like, cool. So like, and then I started talking to him and he's like a cool ass dude. So now I made that connection with him. And that's what I'm starting to find that I like with photography, especially when I'm shooting for myself. Like, walking around, like, hey, can I take a picture of you? You look interesting.
Yeah.
And then, like, dude, I got another one here where...
Yeah, because capturing, like, places, like, or whatever, doesn't compare to, like, capturing, like, moments, Wait, is that, like, he has a mask on?
So his face is painted, but his entire head is covered in tattoos.
Oh, damn. That looks sick, too, dude.
Yeah.
Where was this at?
This was at Navy Pier.
Got
it. I have this fascination with lowriders. I don't mess with lowriders anymore because it's such an expensive hobby. But I used to have like a little lowrider truck with hydraulics. I had like a 78 Monte Carlo. Like, I had always been into that. But after having a few cars, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. But I still like going to these things.
Yeah, and seeing them. And,
And I have some friends that are they're in car clubs around town, and they go to all these shows. So then, like, I'll see they post they're gonna be at a show, so I'll go and take pictures and catch up with people, and then I start meeting people like this. But yeah, lately, like, I like shooting people more than like nature, I guess, or landscape. So like when the supermoon or like this stuff, I'm like, that's cool. I'll take a picture with my phone. But I won't go out of my way with my camera to like go and like.
Got it. Because it's almost like you know what it might be to that is that like anyone can go out there and like capture that, and it's just like, oh cool, when this happened, like this mountain, whatever. But I feel like when you capture people, like you capture the moment, like you capture like that person's, like, you know, you can kind of, and that's why I think you feel like people can relate, because people can relate to people, right?
Yeah.
They relate more to like that person, or you see the guy tatted up and you're like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you get intrigued, you get fascinated, whereas you're just like, oh, that's a cool aesthetically looking like picture of the moon or something like that. You know what I mean? So I guess that's why. I mean, that would probably like answer why.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's this thing too of like you probably, I don't know if you experienced this when you first started doing podcasting, or if you ever have, but like, did you ever have like a little bit of anxiety when you're talking to somebody new?
Yeah, I mean, I still kind of feel like I was telling you earlier. I still kind of feel that, just because, and I like, actually, I'll be honest, I didn't feel it with you, but sometimes you kind of feel like you have to break through people, because I feel like this can kind of like throw you off. Like there's lights, there's cameras, you're like maybe overthinking it, you're in your head, like, you know, whatever. So you kind of feel like you have to break through, you know what I mean? But yeah, it always goes away, you know what I mean? Like at the end of it, you're like, oh, just another person.
Yeah. So stuff like this, like shooting people, has because I've always had jobs where I have to be customer facing and talking to people, so I've gotten over that anxiety of talking to people. But one thing is like a customer walking in to buy something from you, you know they want to be there, versus me going up to some random stranger and being like, hey man, can I get a picture
like
of you?
You're almost like, you feel like you're almost bothering them.
Yeah,
like you
either
don't wanna...
bothering them or like leave me alone, weirdo, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then like every time I do it, everybody's always so receptive to it, and then I'm like, oh cool, and it's just helped me get over like that anxiety of talking to somebody random or stranger, and it's just been so cool to just meet like different people that I normally wouldn't talk to, you know. So I that's another reason why I think I really enjoy like taking pictures of people, and then I think people enjoy seeing pictures of themselves too, you know. Like you take a cool picture of them, like, oh damn, that's awesome, like send it to me, like I love it. So a little bit of that too.
Especially like that guy, he like went to the show, whatever, and maybe didn't expect like, oh, someone's gonna try to get a picture of me, but like a professional one, and he's like, fuck it, like, hold on, let me go to my car, like, you know, get the car too, you know. That's sick. And then you make a moment for that person, you know, etc.
Yeah, like right now I got one of my friends, like she hit me up and she's like, hey, can you do headshots for me, like professional headshots? Like, yeah, sure. You know, and then I did that shoot for I did that birthday shoot for Rosemary, and I posted it, and then I got somebody that it was kind of weird, man. I had 2 clients recently that hit me up because their photographers flaked out on them. So one of them was like on a Friday, she's like, hey, can you do my photo shoot tomorrow morning, like at 11 or noon? She's like, my photographer's not responding, and I'm like, damn, okay.
That's crazy, dude.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, sure, I'll do it. But she had seen the birthday shoot that I had done for Rosemary. So I'm like, yeah, and I did that one. That was cool. That was that little reel that I had with the dog, the girl with the birthday shoot and the dog. I don't know if you saw it. So that one's another cool one too, Ben. Like I've been doing, like, I did quinceañera where with like a horse or something, and her photographer flaked out on her.
Oh, dude, that sucks.
Like the day before.
That's tough.
Yeah, this is the one that was for Rosemary.
Dude, imagine your photographer flaking on you, dude.
Oh, man. You know, that's the crazy thing, too, that I've been noticing is that there's so many people that do photography right now, but I don't think there's a lot of people that do it that are, like, good business people. You know, like, in the sense where everybody's like, oh, I got this cool camera, I can take pictures, but then they've never had to, like, keep a schedule, keep appointments.
Yeah.
Or they're like, it's easy for them to be like, I'll just reschedule, or I won't show up. And because I had another family where the photographer rescheduled on them twice, and then she was telling me, she's like, you know what, she's like, it's hard for us because like they have another daughter that doesn't live with them, and they're like, we only have her certain days.
Oh, and that's tough.
They keep rescheduling, and like, can you do the photos for us? I'm like, yeah, you know, like tell me what day, I'll be there, blah blah whatever. So I got it, but I think there's just so many, because I see it, dude. Like I see people posting like photo shoots for like, I'll do your photos for $50, and I'm oh, you're charging $50, like your gas costs you, you know,
yeah,
like, just
basically.
to get to the place.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, damn, but I think that's what starts setting you apart too, like, you know, just being a responsible person. And
yeah, I mean, your best ability is what, like, availability, right? They say. It's like, you know, yeah, if I'd rather trust someone like that. Like, dude, what was I just talking about too, that I was like, damn, like, I don't, like, this isn't really, like, I'd rather do it here, but I trust them more. Like, it's almost like that, you know, like, you'll take, like, what, you'll pay more, like, whatever, but, like, you know, like, it's gonna be good, you know, like, you can trust that person, like, you know, like, 9 times out of 10, you'd rather choose that. So
yeah, for sure, man. Like, I mean, like anything, right? Like, you're gonna get somebody that's gonna work on your roof, and then you get a recommendation like, no, this guy will show up, he'll do it right, like blah blah, and then somebody's quoting you like, I don't know, $1,000 less, and you're like, but this guy's like cheaper, but then he doesn't show up, or he leaves halfway through the job, or something. You know what I mean?
You find out like, dude, but they fucking took forever, like, you know, they left and came back, like, you know, then you're like,
they start doing like crazy stuff, and you're like, what the hell? That's not how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I see that a lot too, man, where there's all these like photographers that are just like people with cameras, basically, like just running around. Like,
yeah. I mean, I can fucking say I'm a photographer. I have a camera.
Right.
And I can just start posting. Yeah. Like, I'll pull up, dude, you know. But it's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, though. Like, that's not... I don't know. I've always said, like, I don't like doing things, like, kind of halfway, you know? Like I'm not trying to gas this up because it isn't much, but I knew, like, if I wanted to do this, I wanted to have, like, a setting. I wanted to have, like, you know, 2 cameras, like, stuff like that. Like, I wanted to do it in a professional looking way. You know
no,
what I mean?
For sure. I mean, like, you know, it's you come in and it's like a studio set here, man. And then but it's funny, like, you know, like, you don't know if you're gonna show up, and it's like your iPhone on the stand, and that's how you're recording your podcast. But, you know, you have like all your highlights, your cameras, your mics, everything. Like, you even have like a monitor screen, which is like super professional. Like so
we can watch.
Dude, it's so cool. You know, like
and this is all stuff that, I mean, kind of how you were saying with the photographers. You saw like, they do like in certain ways they take like pictures.
Yeah,
it's like I would like watch podcasts, and I'd get like 1 second where like they show the producer, and I like pause it, and I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like, what is that?
Start seeing the switchboard.
And I'm like, oh shit, they have a monitor, and that's kind of where like a lot of this shit grew from. It's like I started to see like other people were like that are, you know, big doing it.
Oh, do you follow football like that? Nah, not super closely. No, just I mean, even like sometimes highlights, but lately nothing, man.
No. I was just gonna say, because I play like fantasy or whatever.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me about that.
Yeah, and I picked up this like kicker from whatever, and he got me a shit ton of points right now. Like,
oh, nice.
And just picked him up because this other guy got cut, so I was like, fuck.
Oh, damn. How much is that league for? Like, what's the price?
Dude, the buy-in was $350.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I know. So buy-in was $350, and then you pay like $5 for every like time you pick someone up or like whatever. So dude, yeah, the pot's gonna be pretty big, but I don't know.
Damn, that's cool, man. So I played fantasy football, like, dude, this was a long time ago. But I played a couple of years, and it's cool, but then dude, I had to watch like every single game, and then like you're sitting there like, come on, I just need you to hit one more touchdown.
Yeah,
or, like
not even
like
enjoying
hit the 100 yards, like hit that 100-yard passing, like so I can get those points. And or I would forget to like trade somebody, and like, I forgot they had a bye this week. And
you
know, I'm sit there like pissed off about stuff. But dude, that's fun. It's fun, man. Like when you play fantasy football, like you really get into the games a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I watch them regardless, so it's kind of like it's synonymous to it. I actually and it helps me like with my personal bets because you're kind of forced to follow these players. You kind of whatever get invested. And basketball, I haven't been into as much like the past couple of years, like at all, and so I don't really know shit, right? Okay. So I can't really bet it. Like I'm betting blind basically, and sometimes I'll hit, sometimes whatever. So I want to get into a fantasy basketball league just for like, I don't care if I don't win that league. Like I want it to be like a $20 like buy-in. I don't fucking care, just so I can kind of get a feel, because you don't get a better feel. You won't get a better feel doing anything more than fantasy. Like, it's just, you know, you're worried like, oh, I gotta pick this guy up. he is playing tonight. He's not playing tonight. Like,
or this guy took a big hit this game. He's probably gonna be hurt the next one.
Yeah,
he's iffy.
Exactly. Because sometimes, dude, I'll tune into a basketball game because I don't follow it like at all, and I'm like, what the fuck? That guy plays there now. You know, it's like stuff like that. I still think of it as like 5-6 years ago, but
Yeah, no, I like sports, man, but it's so hard to follow. Like, even I used to follow MMA a lot. Like, I used to watch like every UFC fight, or even like other leagues. Right now I've been into karate combat a lot. I don't know if you've seen those.
I haven't.
Dude, it's like a pit. So it's like a pit, but the walls are slanted. So like, because a lot of like, if you watch like fights or grappling or whatever, when they get to the edge, they usually stop the fight or reset them or something, or like they'll drag them back to the middle. But this one, the walls are slanted, so when they get to the end, either they fall down and then now they're getting hit while they're like on a slant.
Oh,
so,
wow. That's
so they don't
insane.
stop it.
Yeah.
So it's like the action is pretty good. So I've been getting into that. I'll watch some like bare knuckle fighting, but then other than that, man, like if I'm at a bar, like at the Muck and the baseball game is on, or like basketball or something, like I'll sit there and I'll watch it and I enjoy it, but I don't really like follow it that much anymore.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, I follow football a lot, baseball pretty often, and then the basketball is the one that I fell off of. I was following soccer for a good bit too, and like I don't really know shit. It's too much. Soccer's
it's a lot
too much
because
there's so many leagues, and like all of a sudden this guy's like the best in the world now, and you're like, what the fuck? Like where did he come from? So yeah, that's one thing, dude. I have this like what would you call it? Like a segment that I'm like rolling out this season.
Yeah.
And it's called You Could Never. So I'm kind of just like asking everyone like the same thing in a way. And basically it's you could never like drink a beer, right? So you have to choose of the 4 options that I give you. You have to choose one of the 4. So you could never drink a beer again at a sporting event.
Okay.
You could never drink a beer again at a concert.
Okay.
You can never drink a beer again at a bar, or you can never drink a beer again on your birthday month. Which one are you choosing?
Okay, so birthday month, sporting event, concert, and what was the other one?
Bar.
Or a bar? Damn. Probably a concert.
I think that'd be my answer.
Yeah.
Would be concert.
Yeah, because the game is pretty hard, man. Like, what? Are you a baseball fan at all?
Yeah, imagine going to a baseball game and you just.
Do you? What team do you root for?
Cubs.
Cubs. Oh man, all right.
You're a Sox
Dude,
fan?
no, I'm a Cubs fan, but go to Wrigley and not have a beer.
Yeah,
that's like impossible.
Exactly.
Even though they're like $30 a beer, but still.
The beer bats are freaking $30, dude. Like legit $30.
But dude, that thing is like icy as hell, and it tastes so good when you drink it.
And you keep it. So I bought it once just to have it, and I have it. But never again, dude. $30, but it looks so cool, dude. Yeah.
Well, we went to the home opener in April, and it was freezing. It was like, I don't know what the temperature was, but it was freezing. We had blankets. I had like this big old jacket because I already know it's gonna be freezing.
Yeah.
And we were getting beers, and then somebody went and got the bats, and they came like nice and icy, and I still was like, oh, this is so good. Like it's like nice and icy. But for sure, sports for sure. Birthday month.
Yeah, man.
Birthday month I could maybe do without, but
well, when's your birthday?
November. So my birthday's November 7th. It's coming up soon.
Isn't it? Oh no, that's just dry January. No shave November.
Yeah, what's the other one?
November's tough though, dude. You have Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You have like, I guess that's it. But
yeah, birthday month is always like kind of hit or miss depending if I'm going out or not. But all it takes is for me, and then a bar, forget it. You walk into the Monk or Borders, or like somebody's like, hey, let's meet up here, and it's like, forget it. There's no way. But a concert. I mean, I could probably light up a joint or something, and I'll be fine without.
I mean, okay, so here's the next question: like, when or what kind of music do you listen to? I guess it depends on like that too.
I listen to everything, like concerts. I don't know, man. Like I haven't been to a concert in a long time, dude.
Like the only concerts I can see being hard to attend and not drinking is like, say like a jaripeo. or like
for sure.
yeah, like Mexican music, like those, like a Peso Pluma, Fuerza Regida, like that'd be tough.
Yeah,
but I mean,
damn man.
But I'd choose that over. I can't go to the Cubs game and like be in the bleachers hot as hell.
Yeah.
Wanting a beer, you know, or obviously a bar, and then my birthday month is this month actually. So
okay.
I mean.
So did your birthday pass already, or?
Yeah, it was on Sunday, I think.
Oh, happy birthday, man!
Oh, thanks, bro.
That's awesome. How old are you?
29, dude.
29. Damn, you're young, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm 45. I'll be 46.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So.
You look like late 30s.
I don't feel like it, man. But but yeah, but still, man. Like even on my birthday, like I might not have a beer on my birthday, but that weekend or the weekend before or something, like let's go out dinner and.
Yeah.
Somebody's buying beers and shots.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
And for me, cause like October for me, like it starts like now we're getting into October, November, December, like the holidays.
Yeah.
October is probably when I drink the most. September's or November's probably like when I eat the most.
Okay.
And December's probably when I like sleep the most.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
So it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
I watch football all day, every day.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you're from Donatico, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever go?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been, no. I went there, I went last year, last January.
Oh, for the feria?
Yeah, no, so actually we missed it. We had gone to like my cousin's wedding or something, and it was like the week after, so it would have been hard.
Okay.
Or the week before, something like that. But yeah, I go pretty often. Oh, you're from there?
Yeah, my family's from there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
shit.
My parents' house is, do you know where the Oxxo is? Like when you're coming in from
Iztapa? Yeah, like on that carretera, like the main one.
Yeah, so my parents' house is right across from the Oxxo.
Oh, shit.
So like we're up at the top of the hill.
Dude, we crashed there, like...
Oh, people crashed there.
The last time that I went.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so actually, funny story. So, I mean, I wasn't driving or anything. My cousin was, but it was me, my cousin, his girlfriend, my girlfriend, right? We went to Ixtapan because it's kind of popping, right?
Yeah,
there's like bars, whatever. And so before we were leaving, because we went to eat and then we were leaving, there was this stand, dude. They were selling beers, like, and literally, like, bro, containers like this.
Yeah.
Big ass beers like this. Fire, right? Because they're like mixteados. They weren't like they weren't michas or anything, but they were like they were just fire, right? Mm-hmm. So we're like, fuck it, let's get one to go, right? And then we get in the car, we hop in there, we're going down the carretera, that because it's like 2 lanes or whatever. And I'm like, hey, dude, you know, like play this song, and it's like K-Bros, you know, because they don't know those songs, and I'm like, dude, it's a band from over there, bro. Like play this song. So now every time I think of K-Bros, I'm like, fuck, you know,
your car accident.
Yeah, but so yeah, we're driving, dude, and he's like on the right lane because there's a right and the left lane, and we're going, and dude, there's a fucking taxi driver coming out of the Oxxo, dude. Like slow motion almost, right? And my cousin like kind of like moves right to like avoid him, but the taxi driver kind of like sped up and just like went into the right lane, and he goes back like I don't know what the fuck happened, right? And so basically we just crashed. Like it wasn't bad, nothing.
Yeah.
But dude, all the beer from those containers just like everywhere, bro. Where everyone's wet as fuck. Yeah, like dude, beers. Crazy, right? And isn't that crazy how here you would get a DUI if that happened? But in Mexico, like whatever. It's like, cool. Like, you guys good, you know?
I mean, you still get DUIs, but not, I mean, you got to be, like, really dumb. Like,
yeah. But they were like, whatever. So, we crashed into this taxi driver. The taxi driver gets off. This lady's wearing, like, dude, and it's, like, January. She's wearing, like, a Christmas, like, onesie and shit. Oh. We're like, what the hell? So, apparently, he was, like, with la otra. Oh. Like, yeah, dude, isn't that crazy?
So he was distracted?
Like, but they were fucked up, like, both of them. Damn. And, bro, she just, like, fled the scene. She did. He stayed there. She fled the scene.
They were probably drinking in the parking lot at the Oxxo.
Yeah,
I see a lot of people.
That's literally, I think, what happened.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll chill outside the house, and then it's still a little...
but you can kind of see it?
Yeah, because, like, on the corner across the street, it's, like, an empty lot, and then it's, like, my parents' house. But, it's, like, some apartments that they have, and then their house. So sometimes, like, at night, like, I'll walk over to the Oxxo, and then a lot of times when I would walk over, there were people that would buy a case and then just chill out there in the parking lot, like drinking, getting fucked up.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they were out there getting fucked up.
I don't doubt
paying
it.
Attention.
I don't doubt it because I'm saying he pulled out kind of slow, and then like when he saw us, he like sped up. It's like, what the fuck, like you know. But yeah, so long story short, that happened. Everyone was fine, but yeah, now when I think of the Oxo, like I think of that.
Damn. Yeah. So what part? Where in the town do you guys live?
Fuck, I don't know how to explain. You know where the Corral de Toros is at?
Yeah, all the way at the bottom, like going to.
Yeah. So like if you like, I think it's like si le das para arriba, like is how they say.
Towards the church or something from there.
No,
or towards the plaza.
Towards like the outskirts, like almost towards you. Yeah, almost.
So going towards like what's down there, Los Amates or something, or I mean, I think that basically is like.
Yeah, but it's one of those street, like it's like the third street, like after the Corral de Toros or whatever. Like you go in and it's like a callejon basically. So it's like kind of like on the outskirts of like Tona, like.
Okay.
You know.
But down towards the bottom, down towards the Corral. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you've been going since you were little?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, since I was little. I mean, we would go, and my grandma kind of lives near there too, so we'd go to my grandma's. But then my parents now they have like a house there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, bro. I mean, for as long as I can remember, like a lot of Tonatico memories. You go often or no?
I used to a lot when I was younger. This year I went in January, and it was my first year back in like 6 years. But I used to go like every year for like La Feria, Semana Santa, like Christmas. Like,
yeah.
I would go as often as I could, but again with the businesses, dude, I could never take off.
And when you would, people would be hitting you up.
It was. I mean, I would never go to Tonatico because like I would try to take like a weekend trip, and you can't go to Tonatico on a weekend. Well, I mean, you could, but it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So then finally, this January, I still had the business, but I'm like, you know what, F it. Like, I'm going to go because, you know, my parents are out there now, like, retired. Like, they still come here, but, you know, they're older. And I'm like, let me go hang out with them, take my daughter. I have a 15-year-old daughter. So,
Did you go for La Feria?
Yeah, I was there for La Feria this year.
I was there right before then.
Yeah, I was there for... Before. I think I was there, like... Was it like that last weekend of January, the first weekend of February?
Yeah, I was there like the second weekend of January.
Oh, yeah, like a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still nice, like at that time.
Yeah, for sure. It was cool. I mean, and like you don't really see the pueblo, because like you said, when you go for Semana Santa or the desfile or like something. So you see like the pueblo like in like, you know, go mode. Oh, and when you go and when nothing's going on, it's kind of like you experience like, then you're seeing the kids leave from school, like, you know, it's like quieter in the mornings because people are working. Like it's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
So that was nice too.
I used to go like in the summer, like in the middle of like June.
Yeah,
July.
It'd be rainy as fuck probably.
Raining, like the kids are in school, like everybody's at work. Like at night, everything's super quiet. There's nothing going on, you know. And then the town's changed a lot too, man. Yeah. Like this time that I went, I'm like, there's like these cool. I mean. Cool for Tonatico, like cool bars everywhere, cool places to eat. Then Ixtapa has like all the cool nightlife too. But when I was younger, man, none of that stuff existed. You know?
Dude, yeah, and I remember going and like, I want to say when I was like, I don't know, like 13, 14, right? So like the internet was rolling around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, but here it was like full throttle, like your phone worked everywhere, like all that. But not over there. So I remember, like, I get these very nostalgic feelings, like, going and remembering, like, where I think it's called CVID. Is that where they have computers, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember going there. I would, like, hop on Facebook.
Yeah.
See, like, my likes, my comments, like, whatever. Be like, hey, like, I'm here in Mexico. Like, that was, I remember, because you were, like, phones weren't, like, 100% there yet. Yeah. Where you could just hop on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, back then, it was, like, you had to be on an actual computer.
Yeah, you had to pay, like, some crazy data plan to, like, access your phone over there.
Yeah, hell yeah. And, it, like, it didn't work half the time. Right. And, you know, they weren't really, like... Facebook didn't really have, like, an app. Like, it was more, like, you know... So, yeah, I remember those times. And, like, it's very nostalgic. Seeing the CBED still there. Like, it's like their library, though, or whatever, you know? But back then, I would use it to, like, hop on Facebook and, like, talk to my friends. Them, yeah, dude.
Like, yeah, you're right. There was like no internet. Now I go, my mom has internet at the house.
Yeah, everyone does.
Like streaming stuff at home.
Yeah. Dude, this is like way off topic, but I thought of it because we've had 3 beers. Mm-hmm. I saw someone say like, I don't know, I might have been on Twitter. Or like, dude, 3 beers at home, like, hit way less than 3 beers at a restaurant. Do you agree? Like, you ever gotten to B-dubs and you have 3 beers and you're like fucked up, but like at home you're like, oh, 3 beers.
Depends, man. Depends what I'm drinking.
Cause I felt that I was like, dude, yeah. When I have 3 beers, like at dinner or whatever, like
you're feeling it more than
that. I don't even know if I've had 3 beers, cause 2 will do the job. Like you know, like you order the first one, I'm like, oh damn, and then the second one, like halfway through, I'm like, this shit hitting right now. You know,
my problem out is that somebody's always buying a shot. That's always the problem. Yeah. So like. I'm like 2, 3. I'm like, oh, I'm just, you know, como dices, like just for one, and then it's never one chill. Because somebody comes and then you're hanging out with somebody that you haven't seen in a while, or like, all right, cool, I'm gonna have a beer with you, and then
it becomes the whole thing.
Then somebody walks in and let me buy you a shot, and now you gotta buy a shot, and next thing you know, you're like 4 or 5 shots deep and like 4 or 5 beers, and you're like, damn it, what happened? But yeah, I try not to have those nights anymore, man. Cause
even though those are the best nights.
Oh, for sure.
But, dude, like, where could we, like... I mean, where can people, like, hit you up? Like, you know, find you, book you, you know? Like, look through your stuff.
So, my website is vicdiaz.com. And then on Instagram, I'm vic.unlimited. And, or even on Facebook, it's, like, Vic Diaz Photography. So, any of those. Probably the website's the easiest. Then there's links to everything there. My contact info, email, contact forms.
Yeah, and it's like you said, right now you're kind of open to anything, like everything.
For sure. I'm doing all kinds of jobs, man. I'm doing like event photography, quinces, weddings, family portraits, you know, hopefully this MMA event, and then, anything that has to do with taking photos. So, yeah. Yeah,
for sure, dude. Well, I mean, you guys know where to find Vic. You guys... just follow this page. We're going to be promoting it, obviously. So, cool. You know, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Vic, for coming on.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
First and foremost. And, you know, look forward to seeing more of you in the future. Hopefully, you know, we'll link up some more and, like, you know, have more of these sit-downs and whatnot. And, make sure you guys hit all those buttons that I told you guys to hit at the beginning if you haven't. And we'll see you guys next time.